The desert sun was burning low in the horizon when the cowboy rode into the quiet, forgotten town. Dust swirled around his boots as he stepped off his horse. He didn't come here for gold or fame. He came because whispers of suffering had reached his ears. Whispers about a poor widow and her starving children. The saloon doors creaked as he walked inside. Rough men sat at the tables, gambling with cards, drinking whiskey, laughing at another man's loss. But in the corner, a frail woman stood, her eyes hollow, her hands trembling. Her clothes were torn, her face was pale, and in her arms she held the smallest child, barely breathing from hunger. She gathered what little strength she had, walked up to the bar and whispered, "Sir, I am too weak and hurt, but I can cook. Please, let me cook. My kids haven't eaten for 3 days." The room fell silent. Some men chuckled cruelly, others turned their faces away. But the cowboy, he watched closely. The saloon owner, a greedy man with a belly bigger than his heart, sneered. "Cook, you think anyone here needs your stale bread? Get out before I throw you and your brats onto the street." The widow's knees buckled. She clutched her child tighter and turned to leave. That's when the cowboy's voice cut through the silence like a sharp blade. "Let her cook." The room shifted. Everyone looked at the stranger. Dusty hat, revolver at his hip, eyes darker than midnight. He spoke again, calm but commanding. "You'll give her the kitchen, or I'll take it from you." The greedy owner trembled but nodded, too afraid to argue. The widow's eyes filled with tears as she whispered, "Thank you, sir, thank you." The cowboy followed her into the kitchen. With trembling hands, she lit the fire, mixing flour and water, salvaging scraps others had thrown away. Slowly, the aroma of bread filled the air. It wasn't much, but it was hope. Her children, 3 of them, frail and silent, sat near the stove, their eyes glowing with hunger and anticipation. As they ate the first warm bites, tears rolled down their cheeks. The cowboy stood in the corner, his hand resting on his revolver, watching over them like a silent guardian. But peace never lasts long in the desert. Outside the saloon, a group of men gathered. They were bandits, ruthless, hungry for power. And the widow's husband? He had once worked for them before he was killed in a failed robbery. These men claimed the widow owed them a debt. The leader stormed into the saloon, slamming the doors open. His voice was harsh. "Woman, you eat in peace while you owe me silver? That bread belongs to us." The widow froze, clutching her children. Her voice cracked. "I have nothing left. Only these little ones." The bandit laughed coldly, reaching for her child. But before his hand touched the boy, the sound of a revolver cocking echoed. The cowboy stepped forward, hat low, eyes unflinching. "Touch them and you'll regret it." The room grew heavy with silence. The bandits laughed at first. One reached for his gun. But the cowboy was faster. A single shot rang out. His bullet struck the man's belt buckle, knocking the gun to the floor. Not a killing shot, just a warning. The leader's grin faded. He could feel the weight of the cowboy's stare. "This ain't your fight, stranger," he hissed. The cowboy replied, steady and cold. "Every hungry child is my fight." The bandits hesitated. They weren't cowards, but they knew this man's reputation. The wandering cowboy who fought for justice, who never drew his gun without reason, and who never missed when he did. With a final glare, the leader spat on the floor and growled, "Enjoy your meal, widow. But we'll be back." They stormed out into the night, leaving the saloon in silence. The widow collapsed into tears. Her children clung to her, whispering, "Mama, Mama," as if afraid she would disappear. The cowboy knelt beside her. "You don't owe them anything. Your husband paid with his life. And now you'll owe no man again." She looked up at him, broken but grateful. Why would you help us? We are nothing to you." The cowboy's jaw tightened. He pulled a small worn locket from his pocket. Inside was a faded picture of a woman and a little girl. His voice dropped low, heavy with pain. "Once, I had a family too, and I wasn't there when they needed me most. I won't let that happen again, not to you." The widow's tears fell harder. She didn't know his full story, but she understood his heart. The cowboy stood, adjusted his hat, and handed her a small pouch of coins. Buy what you need. Feed your children. And if those men come back, tell them the cowboy is watching. That night, as the town lights dimmed, the cowboy rode out into the desert once more. The wind carried the sound of children laughing, the first time in many nights. Behind him, the widow held her children close, whispering prayers for the stranger who had saved them. And though he vanished into the shadows, the legend of the cowboy grew stronger. For in a land where mercy was rare and kindness was weakness, he had shown the world that even the smallest act, a meal, a word, a bullet, could change a family's fate forever.